Hello, my passengers. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator, the new version, which I have been dying to play this game since I came out. I was already preparing to do a flight simulator for the stream, and then the new version came out, and I decided, you know what? We're going to wait a little bit and see how this is, but yeah. This new version, I've decided finally to dive into it, and I've been practicing, and I'm not a great pilot. I'm going to be the first to admit that, but I think I'm good enough for the purpose of this game, and we're going to see how this goes. I've turned off most of the assistance, so hopefully it won't have anything too insane, and we're just going to see how well this whole thing works off. So what we're going to do for a time playing Flight Simulator is we're going to go through kind of a journey. Kind of places that have meant something to me in life, or at least close to them. And we're going to start with going between Idaho Falls and Pocatello, which these are a couple of cities that I grew up in that area. I was born there. You can see this whole area is farmland. It's a bunch of potato farms. We have a nice little lake over here. I practice using a fairly direct route. We may vary a little bit. Our nav log, you can see that our cruise altitude is going to be 6,500, so we're going to be flying fairly low over the terrain, as opposed to a more conventional for this area, which would be 8,500. But, you know, it's actually a really, really short flight. As much as I can, I'm going to try to do visual-only navigation. This may not work out so great. I am still getting very much in practice with this, but, you know, we'll see how well it goes. Trying to think what else we should really say. Throughout this journey, we're gonna cross really across the United States, maybe back and forth along some different routes. I haven't fully picked out my route, but I think we'll go down to Salt Lake, and then from Salt Lake, we're probably gonna head to the west, probably to Denver, and then maybe somewhere like in Oklahoma City. You know, we'll switch different planes and stuff. We'll switch different flight styles. But for this first one, I wanted to do something that I feel like I can do because, you know, this Flight Simulator is really, really close to flying a real airplane. And so, yeah, we're going to see how well this works. And let me see. Stream is rendering reasonably well. Okay. I think on that note, let's hit the fly button. Well, one more thing. Okay. So we're going to fly from the gate, which means we're going to have a cold start. This is actually a really good set of airports to fly between because it's pretty much straight access. You don't have to do anything real fancy. You could do a direct takeoff, a direct landing, and the runways, it's both 21, so you know you're going in the right direction. 21 is mostly south, southwest, so there's a little bit there. This is really a good circuit to start with. Let's go ahead and do this. So we are in cold start. So we're going to pull up our pre-flight checklist. We're going to get this whole thing started here. I have a flight controller, which I'll be a flight joystick, nothing too fancy, but you know we're mostly going to use the different things on the screen. All right, so we got to turn the fuel valve on. And then we check the brakes. So I push the button for the brake. We see the brake goes in, brake goes out. So we can tick, tick, tick. Good. So now we start the engine. We look at the mixture And this is something I don't fully understand, but we'll put it to rich, push it all the way in. We'll set the anti-ice to cold, which is fine. We're not going to prime it. So let's see. Tick, tick, tick. Put the throttle on just a little bit, which should be fine. Then the master switch, let's go ahead and hide the yoke. It's these two. We're going to flip both of these. And then we're going to flip the key. One more time. Woohoo! We are now flying. All right, so tick, tick. Ignition start. Throttle to 100. Let's lower this down just a scooch. To 1,000, which we are now at 1,000 RPM. Excellent. Oil pressure is this little gauge here. We're basically in the green. And then we need the flashing beacon and the navigation lights on. So if we go check out the window, or I'll use the little hat. You know, our lights are on. It's not super obvious, but they're on. All right. Check. Okay. So at this point in time, we're going to tune in Idaho Falls ground, which is the airport that we're at, and we're going to request depart south.
Idaho Falls ground, Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo with Oscar request taxi for takeoff south departure.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo taxi to and hold short of runway 21 using taxiway Bravo Alpha. Contact tower on 118.5 when ready.
Okay, so we got directions. Let's acknowledge.
Taxi to and hold short runway 21 using taxiway Bravo Alpha Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Let's turn to the tower. Okay. Whoopsie daisies. So, okay, we're going to fly along here. I'm keeping an eye on my speedometer. We're flying a Cessna 1470. I should have probably put that in the title. You know, we're just trying to keep it slow but steady. So I think we've got a good... we're about 800 RPMs. That seems to be good. Good enough to move us forward, but not too crazy. I didn't check my fuel either. That probably should be on the pre-flight check, actually. But, you know, presumably we have enough fuel since we put this in. Oops. We probably should have... so let's see... Taxi to and hold short the runway. We're actually past there. Okay, we're not there. This is not the runway. Silly me. Shows how well I know this game. Turn off the brakes. So he's probably keeping an eye out for me, so that's why he didn't call and say, hey, you know, you're doing something crazy. So we have some navigation beacons. When we get to the actual flight part, we're going to pull up the visual navigation chart, and we're just going to try to dead reckon it. This should be easy enough for here. It's going to be a lot harder for some of the other stuff. Hey, there's a forklift in our flight path. Good. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, I'm sure that works so well. Anywho, I'm trying to take a plane off. You're supposed to tell me about that ground. So we're our taxi B to A. We're going to go down all the way to the end of this taxiway, which is running parallel to the runway, which is over there. Not seeing anybody land, which is fine. We are in the dedicated taxiway, so we're probably going at an okay speed. We don't want to be going much faster than this. In fact, we'll probably slow it down just a scooch here. Better safe than sorry. Okay, I can see the blue lines starting to shift ahead. We have the assistance for the ground transportation, but not for in air, hopefully, if I've set this up right, because we want the navigation challenge. Hold short. Let's request takeoff clearance.
Idaho Falls Tower Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo ready for departure to the south at runway 21.
Okay, we're gonna pull up our.
Cessna Tango Romeo
Let's
Kilo
close
Romeo
this.
altimeter 29.9er 2N258 Departure to the south approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 21.
Okay, we're gonna put up our navigation. Where's the navigation? There we go, navlog. All right. Acknowledge.
Cleared for takeoff runway 21 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Okay. So we're clear for takeoff. We're not quite there, but we're pretty close. So we're gonna get gear. I guess we did hold short. Yeah, this is, technically we should have stopped right here. So now the runway is ours. This is the runway. We can see down off to the side. You see the 21. Let's line up a little bit better here. And full brake. Okay. And let's go. Full throttle. Cleared for takeoff. Our call sign is TRKR, which is for tracker. Maybe I should have been RDTK or something, but that's okay. So we're going to keep going along here until our speed is about 60. We're going to pull up just a scooch. And we are heading, of course, to Idaho Falls. Whoops, daisies. Let's not have too much party going on yet. Or to Pocatello, excuse me. Idaho Falls is a little bit further north. So we're going to just keep climbing. We're going to go about 75 knots until we hit 6,500.
Kilo Romeo continue for south departure.
Acknowledge.
Idaho Falls Tower Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo continue for south departure.
Okay. We're going to have to switch over.
906 Charlie, follow the aircraft on final. Wind 25 Beta tree. Cleared to land runway 21.
We don't want to request a landing. Okay, we need to start our navigation at this point in time. So we're going to hit the start button. And we need to be at... The first one's just a real short leg. That's basically what we've been doing. We need to head to 199, which will be Roughly here. So we're going to keep going here. We're going to try not to stall. Ah! This navlog, can we make this any smaller? Let's just put you over here. We'll put ATC over here. Yeah, that'll do. So then we can see out the windows, which is really the whole point of flying, right? So we're going to try to stay level. And let's see, we're at 6,000. We want to get up to 6,500. And then we're going to level out. We can see over here, this is the lovely Snake River that we're going along. Not particularly important except for its importance to potato farming. Basically, everything you see here, most of the potatoes you eat are from one of the fields that you could see in the air right here. You know, massive, massive numbers of potato farmers. We're a little bit off our course. Okay. So can we set this to a different comm? Oy, we're having some issues. I think there may be a little more wind than I'm used to, or maybe it's just the nerves. 180, 199. This should do. Even just a little bit of a difference can make a huge difference because we're flying.
Romeo, Kilo, Romeo, leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
All right. Acknowledge frequency
Idaho
change.
Falls Tower Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo frequency change.
So we can change now. We're going to nearest airport list. We're going to switch to further. We want the Pocatello. Tune in. We're going to request a full stop
Pocatello
landing.
Tower Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is 39 miles northeast, 6,900 feet with echo to land.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo Pocatello Tower. Altimeter 29.9 2 wing 258 at tree. Fly straight and runway 21.
So we're a little bit off. Acknowledge.
Make straight and runway 21 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
So what we're seeing here, what we're flying over is I believe it's the I-15 that connects the two. We are cleared now to go to, let's see, cleared to go straight to Pocatello. Gosh, I am a little bit nervous with this. This is not something I'm used to doing. So we got to go here for 20 minutes. I really wish I could make this nav log smaller. But it doesn't seem to want to be. Can we make the ATC a little smaller? Yeah, we can do that at least. So looking out the window, we see some potato farms keep crossing the river. All is excellent. We are almost perfectly on 199. We are getting up a little bit higher than I want to be. We'll go 7,500 actually. That will be our cruising altitude. And now we're here, so I'm gonna lower the engine just a scooch to be in an idle config. They recommend 2,300 RPM, at least in all the training, so that's what we're gonna do. I wish I knew this area better, but it's been a long time since I've spent any real time here. Let's go down a bit. Did I pull my flaps? I didn't even set my flaps to take off, which is fine. We will set them to land. Okay, we're making good speed, so we're probably gonna do a little bit better. We're flying into the sun, which must be awful. But this is fine. Checking all around the place. Good, good. So while we're sitting here and flying, what else should we talk about? We're flying over Pocatello or Idaho Falls. Idaho Falls is known for a university that's in the area. It also has a lot of researchers for the Atomic National Laboratory, Idaho National Research Laboratory, INRL. A lot of the nuclear research that happens in the country happens around here. I don't know exactly where that is, but I know a lot of people who work for it, including my uncle. And my dad considered it at one point in time. We're going towards Blackfoot. Blackfoot, you know, the different cities here, they each got the chance to do something. One took the national lab, one took the university. Blackfoot took the mental hospital. So they have the state mental hospital there. It's up to you to judge whether or not. Blackfoot also has the World Potato Museum, which I have been to. It's been a while, but it's not that big, but it's a whole museum dedicated to potatoes. Because why not? You can see most of the farms follow the Snake River. This is heavily irrigated to produce this. This is still desert type area. That almost looks like a runway ahead, but that is the I-15. Yes. We are maintaining our altitude and our trek. I mean, hang on. Did I just pause it or something? I think I paused it. Whoops. Yeah, this looks better. We're actually moving now. Okay, note to self. Be careful pushing that button. I have a button that I will push to do things that don't need to be aired in terms of noise, cough or something like that, and I had pushed that button, and that button is usually the pause button, which almost never actually does anything. But it does apparently in this game. We want to drop a little bit. I usually check that. But I forgot. Okay. So we are now approaching 9 minutes of flight. So we're at approximately the halfway point. So this should definitely be Blackfoot. Moreland, my grandfather had one of these farms out here. It was probably my grandfather's farm that he would go grow potatoes on for the longest time until he passed away several years, and he retired before then. We could just follow the I-15, and maybe we will, but we're going to try to do this Dead Reckoning navigation because that is going to become really important eventually. Love the patterns in there. I wonder how accurate those patterns are. It's funny, for a while I lived in Arizona, and when we'd come up to Idaho, we'd think, hey, Idaho is green. But when I lived in Kansas, which is a much, much greener spot, then we did not have such thoughts. We thought it was a brown and dreary place. We're off a little bit. Let's just adjust. Okay. So you can see the Snake River. We're no longer following it quite as closely, but we're still following along the I-15. It's really nice to have that nice landmark to know that we're going in the right direction. I did do a test flight on this trajectory, mostly just so I could start the engine and learn how this worked. And I did not use the highway at all for the navigation. I did it all dead reckoning. We're going about 90 knots. So, 100 miles an hour, it's not bad. So the speed, so if we're going to do this in 20 minutes times 3, it's expecting that we're going to go around 100, which we're actually not going quite that fast. So in theory, our time should be a little bit low, especially since we're having to adjust our angle. Every time we do that, it eats up a little bit of our time. Okay, we got the Snake River that is coming along. We're just kind of snaking along the Snake River. Blackfoot is named after the Blackfoot Indian tribe. So I believe there's some casinos and such that are in this direction. That looks like a rest area there. I think I stopped at that rest area and changed the last time I was there. Huh. This game is amazing that it would do something like a rest area and have it. I mean, that's crazy, right? Okay. 12-minute mark. So at 23:30, we should start our descent roughly. It should be a 208-degree change. We're a little bit off, I think. Yeah. Following nicely along the river. We got a nice little interchange here. This could be Blackfoot, actually. Nah, I don't think this is, but maybe it is. It's really a kind of run-down little town these days, unfortunately. Last time I was there, and it has been a while. Let's shift a little bit more. Okay, that should bring us to about 200, which is probably good enough. Okay, we got 7 minutes. Now, in theory, we could set some flaps to do this. Let's play with this. I have not had a lot of luck. We're going to try to trim this such that our altitude maintains a constant thing. This will basically automatically adjust. We don't want that. We want plus. Okay, let's not mess with that. We're staring blindly into the sun. Lovely. Maybe I should change the time of day. Now, we're going mostly south. So it's kind of interesting that we're flying into the sun. But I guess we're going southwest. And, Idaho is fairly far up, so, I guess it is what it is. So you can see a bunch of farmsteads that are in this area. They tend to build their houses kind of close together, and their fields are further apart for a number of reasons. We are still below 7,000. Let's try to get up to 7,000 here. We're at 15 minutes, so we're at 3/4 of our main leg. I wish I knew what the flight rules are, you know, what altitudes you're supposed to stay at, but 7,000 should do, right? Oh, Moreland is straight ahead. Let's take a look there. See if we can see my grandpa's, oh, there's a little tiny strip there. Probably a crop dusting. My grandpa's potato farm is somewhere around here. Alright, enough bending down. Trying to make our passengers sick here and probably succeeding, to be honest. We're a little bit off. Let's adjust. Tasty, tasty potatoes. I never complain about potatoes for a meal. It just, you know, it's in the blood. All right. We're still maintaining our course pretty good. Pretty well. Let's take a look at the ATC menu. We still do not have request for clearance to land, which is not a surprise. It is a pretty far away still. We should have about 7 to 8 minutes. We should be getting close enough where maybe we could see it if we weren't flying straight into the sun. Here, I'm going to just use the mouse to look over. Yeah, let's look like this. We won't look to the side. We're a bit off course. This is closer. So eventually we're going to turn to 216. So it means it should be fairly close to where my compass is, straight below that. Suppose we could request directions if we need to. Now, there's something straight ahead that looks like it may be a runway. Okay. All right, 18-minute mark. So we should be... Well, we're going to trust this for now. Trust this dead reckoning visual flight rule. I mean, we're close. We're following the Snake River. But I don't know exactly where the airport is relative to these two. Okay. We are now 1 minute away from our touch point to turn. I think we've kept a pretty good balance on our speed. We're probably a little high. In fact, I'm going to reset this now. We're going to make the turn to 216, and we're going to hope that the airport is here. So it should be dead ahead. And in fact, I think this right here is in fact an airport. So it has some slight winds, but nothing too horrible. So at this point in time, we should start to descend. So I'm going to lower the engine. Although I'm not real convinced this is an airport. Let's go ahead and request direction.
Pocatello Tower Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo Airport is 9 o'clock, 16 miles.
9 o'clock? So this is that lake that they were talking about. Or that we saw. Let's just try one more time.
Pocatello Tower Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo Airport is 11 o'clock, 15 miles.
So they can see which direction I'm flying. So it should be in this direction. About. Which, that would mean we did something kind of screwy. 15 miles. We're gonna throttle up. We're gonna gain a little bit of altitude. Where are you? Last time I had a lot more navigation turned on, so yep. This is the trick, right? Learning to fly. So this is very high land, but it's pretty flat. Surprisingly. I mean, there's still some mountains in the distance. Okay. You know, while we're at it, let's adjust the mixture to be like 50-50 maybe. I don't know. It's saying the airport's this direction. Let's request directions again.
Pocatello Tower Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo Airport is 1 o'clock, 12 miles.
1 o'clock. They must be. Let's see what they say now. Oh, it would be so annoying.
Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo Airport is 10 o'clock, 12 miles.
Okay, so it's right there by the lake. Oh, I see. I see. So we just didn't go quite far enough before we did our turn. We are fairly low. So you see the flashing lights up ahead, and you can see the direction, therefore, that we need to go. See some of the stuff here in Pocatello. Luckily, this is an airport with some really good indicators. We are actually climbing a little bit. We're at 6,000 feet. I'm going to try to level off. It's a good thing they have these blinking lights because I would not be able to see jack squat. So we're actually making really good time here. Now comes the fun part. Let's see if I can land this plane. We're coming a lot more from the east, but we're going to be turning around to the south soon. Let's just try to stay right at 6,000 feet. That should be pretty good. Okay, we see the runway. I think we need to go more this direction, though. Okay, let's just see what they have to say.
Pocatello Tower Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo Airport is 1 o'clock, 8 miles.
So, okay, we're 8 miles out. We are not lined up at all with the runway, which is lovely. But I think we're going good. Let's go ahead and back down on our speed. So I'm going to put 50% throttle. We have plenty of altitude. Yep, that is definitely the runway, and it's giving a nice, wonderful, beautiful indicator of the right direction to land, which I have been basically not taking full advantage of. Okay, we can now see the runway. Let's see, we're going to get into the flight pattern here. I want to see the speed, but I want to be able to see the runway still. We're still at a decent altitude. We're a little bit above where below where we should be for this part in the pattern, but this is fine. Okay, let's see if the ATC now will... Nope, we've got our landing intentions. We're getting more lined up.
Romeo Kilo Romeo wind 258 at tree. Cleared to land runway 21.
Oh, we're cleared to land. Acknowledged landing
Cleared to
clearance.
land runway 21 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
So I think we're getting that blinking sound. I don't know for sure what it is, but I think it means we've got a beacon for landing. Or is it the danger? It's a marker of some kind. Okay. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. We're going really fast. So we're going to slow down a little bit more. Looks like we slightly overshot the runway. So that will help to bleed off some of our speed. Which one's our gas gauge? Seems like an important one to know. We're still coming in really fast, but probably a little low. So let's come up. I'm keeping an eye out for the lights. We should see 2 lights is the right pattern. 2 green lights, 2 red lights. I'm not actually seeing it though. My eyes are not that eagle-eyed. We need to level off. Let's put our flaps. In fact, let's fully extend the flaps. Okay, that means we need a little bit more power. But what that will do is allow us to get smoother. We're getting the lineup beacon, I guess. We are cleared to land. All right. So we're going to kill the engines at this point in time. We're going a little fast. But kill the engines, come down, and we're going to do a flare. Okay, we're close to line. Yeah, this is not bad. All right, let's level out. Flare up just at the last minute. Woo! That was not hideous.
Romeo, Kilo Romeo, turn next taxiway.
Turn the next taxiway, okay. Let's clear the runway. Presumably somebody else is coming behind us.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, contact ground on 121.9er.
Okay,
Going
acknowledge.
to 121.9er, Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo.
So we're going to tune into ground, and we're going to request taxi to parking.
Pocatello ground, Cessna Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo, taxi to parking.
Cessna Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo, taxi to General Aviation parking using taxiway Alpha.
So I wish I knew better the directions we're going to acknowledge.
Taxi to General Aviation parking using taxiway Alpha, Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo.
Whoops, a little bit close to the little marker. I'm sure they get run over a bunch in this game. Let's brake. Okay. Let's go ahead and come up a little bit more. Let's try to keep our speed a little bit lower here because we're around other people, and that seems like a wise idea. Up, we got a van that's in our way. Oh, we got a parking spot right here. So we're just going to pull right in. All right. So ground services, let's see here. I guess it's not a fuel. Well, let's call this flight done. So what we're going to do is turn off this. We're going to flip the switch down, and our flight is officially over. The next thing I would have done was to turn off the fuel, but yeah. All right, so we got another daytime takeoff and landing in our belts. Woohoo! So let's see here. I think this is as far as I'm going to go for today. This will be a short stream. I'm still trying to perfect this. This game is amazing and super detailed, and I don't have anything particularly fancy. I have a $40. Well, it was $40. They're a little bit more expensive these days. Joystick and thrust controller. You know, nothing fancy. I don't have a full, what are they called? Yoke that you can push in, pull out, or the pedals, or multiple levers to control the mixture and all of that fun stuff that you could do with some of the fancier things, but it gets the job done. In fact, let me show you. Yeah, we'll go ahead and continue to the main menu. So next time, well, we'll end on just a fun flight. But next time we're going to go from Pocatello to probably Salt Lake City. We'll probably do something different. I'll pull up my controller though, so you can see. This is what I have. This is a very good representation of what I have. And so it gets the job done. You have the throttle control. You have enough buttons to do some fun stuff, but not too many to get you into any real trouble. You got to do what you got to do. And if this works well, then I will do more if people are interested. Let's go back. Whoops. No, we're not going to quit. We're going to do just messing around for the fun of it.